Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, friends. Good morning, family. Good morning, good morning. I'm super excited to be here with you guys this morning. I started off the same way because I mean it the same way every morning. Welcome to the Hope and Her podcast recording, where we are recording 40 episodes, 40 days till my birthday, 40 days countdown, and 40 days to my 40th birthday. And we are on day 15 of a 40-day countdown. And when I say I'm excited to be here, we are 2 weeks out, essentially, right? We are 2 weeks out. And so I am constantly looking forward to what God is going to do in this space and how God is going to blow our minds. And one of the things that happened, because it's happening so early, we don't know what we're gonna run into. Like, let me just be clear. I never know what's gonna happen. And so we had a little bit of technical difficulties in the background. It ain't because I wasn't up and ready. Been up since 4 a.m. So I'm super hyped, right? To just like share with you all, okay? And so today is travel day for me. So we're going to get on here and we're going to move through what God has for us. And if you're here with us, why don't you say good morning to me? Say good morning. Say good morning. Type it in the chat. Good morning. And listen, if you are catching this on the replay, make sure that you go ahead and put hashtag replay so that we can come back and we can engage with you. I want to make sure that I have time to bring my guest on and that we're able to have a great conversation today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my colleague, my peer. We actually, I'm gonna let her tell y'all how we know each other. We'll go from there. But my colleague and my peer, Minister Lisa Goss, I will be bringing her out in just a moment. It looks like she is ready in the background. Give me a head nod if you're ready. I see you smile. All right, perfect. Let's bring Minister Lisa Goss to the stage. I really need to get like a clap track or something. Like, I feel like I need a clap track so that when the people come to the stage, I can have it, clap for y'all, because that feels like that feels like what needs to happen. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So good to be here with you this morning. I hope you can hear me well. I don't know what may happen.
It's okay. We will make it happen. I'm not concerned. And we will definitely we'll just keep it moving. We'll keep it moving. So, Lisa, tell the people how we know each other. Tell the people how we met.
So we met in 2011, was it 12? Between 2011 and 12 at Ashland. And we connected because neither one of us wanted to be bothered with anybody. You were antisocial and I had trust issues. We were in the right place. We were in the right place at the right time. And then God did his thing and we became friends and been friends, been sisters ever since that happened. That's how that came up.
That is hilarious. Lisa said I was antisocial and she had trust issues. It's funny because it's true, friends. It is funny because it's true. Oh my goodness. Good morning. Let's say good morning to our guest. Good morning,
Mabel.
Good morning, Celidia. Good morning,
Good
y'all.
morning.
Glad that y'all are here. And then again, if you're catching it on the replay, make sure you say hashtag replay. So I asked Lisa Goss how we met, how we know each other. Oh my goodness. So we met in our counseling program. We were going to become therapists, going to school to become therapists. And she said neither one of us wanted to be bothered. So that's how we connected. She said that I was antisocial and she had trust issues. Wow. What a combination. It takes God to put that combination together. Again, funny because it's true, okay? Let me ask you a
Yes.
question, Ross. When you think of first fruits, what do you think about?
I think about my morning breath when I know that I am breathing in the morning. You know, when you
Mm-hmm.
sleep. But when I
Mm-hmm.
wake up in the morning and I take that first breath and I say, thank you, Lord, what would you have me to do today? That's
Mm.
getting my first rule. What is it? The first thing is Him. The first thing on my mind is the Lord. The first assignment that I have is whatever He would have me to do for that day. And so that's what I offer to God in the morning, to be obedient and be of His service, whatever
All
that
right.
is that He has called me to do. Because, we sit in front of people all day long, to do what we need to do. So it's absolutely no way I can't give God my first fruits, because
I
how am
love
I going to survive? Yeah, how am I going to survive the day? How am I going
that.
to do that? How am I going to be, how am I going to not do harm to our clients if I'm
Mm-hmm.
not prepared? So that's it. That's what it is for
I
me.
love that. She said her first fruits, the question is she said her first fruits is a question. God, what will you have me do today? How many of us ask God, what will God have us to do today? And I
Hmm.
love that, because I have to admit and say, I don't always ask right off. Like, I know I'd be like, okay, Lord, direct me or guide me or something, but I don't know that I ask. And I think that that's a good place to start. It's okay, Lord, how do I move into what it is you'll have for me to do? We talk about first fruits here as a lifestyle, as our movement, as our being. So first fruits is whatever we give to God. Our lives should be first fruits. And one of our guests said, first fruits ain't the only fruits that we'll give, right? First fruits is just that,
Hmm.
not just, it's that space in which
First.
um, we have an opportunity to give. I see you out here. Good morning, Lena. I didn't say happy. What day is this? Friday. Happy Friday to you. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So, okay. So perfect. How do we meet? We talked about that. We talked about first fruits and what we thought about that. So, what our topic for today is going to be a fun one. So, Lisa is a licensed therapist, a licensed professional counselor in the state of Michigan, and she also is a minister, right? And so, of course, we're going to probably have some conversation around mental health, as both of us are, both of those things. But the one thing that Lisa said that she wanted to talk about today was surviving and healing. Surviving and healing. Lisa, kick us off this morning, where you wanted that conversation to kind of go. Surviving and healing.
So, for the last 3 days, waking up in the morning, the first thing that has been coming out of my mind was, God, thank you that you helped me, and you gave me the pathway, you gave me the energy to
Mhm.
survive. And then, God, you reminded me that only did I survive that thing, but then you sent me to Ashland for healing,
Mhm.
right? Because what I've noticed is that many people survive a thing and they
Yeah.
think, okay, that's it. I'm done. I survived it. But they carry the residue of everything they've been through for the rest of their lives if they don't heal from what they had to survive from.
If they don't heal from what they had to survive.
Yes,
Ooh, that's good. That's good. So there's a difference. I love this right here this morning. There's a difference between surviving and healing. There's a
absolutely.
difference between, so you can survive something and not heal from it. And so what we're
Absolutely.
saying is that it's super important for us to dig into the healing once we survive.
Absolutely. And because if we do not, sis, if we do not go through the healing process, we
Mhm.
are every day the rest of our lives responding to that trauma. We're responding to it. And that's how those root vows step in. I will never ever. Oh, they will
Uh-oh.
never ever. He will never ever. She will never ever. I will never ever be hurt again. I will never ever let this happen again. And what we're doing is responding to something that happened 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And it stagnates us. It keeps us in that place. And a lot of times we don't even know that we are operating from that bitter root VOW that we made because of the pain, because of the hurt, because of the trauma. And so we don't release any of that stuff really until we go through the healing process. Like we can hide it, we can step over it every day, but we gonna fall into it sometime during that day, right? We gonna fall right back into that survival mode, because I believe that in survival mode, we become someone else to survive.
My goodness.
We become someone else.
We call that dissociation. Like
Yes.
we dissociate from the space, right? So that we can get through whatever the thing is that we need to get through. Sandra says, and we're going to say good morning to Sandra and Janelle. Good morning, lady. Thank you for joining us this morning. Sandra says, you made it through the storm, but you're still soaking wet and dripping on other people. Listen to me. Listen.
Yes.
We can get through some things. God will give us strength to get through some things, right?
Yes.
God will give us the just the pure willpower to get through some things. And then when we get through those things, we gotta go back and implement those healing processes, because I love how Sandra said you're still dripping on other people. And we also talk about it, it's like your wound, you get cut, there's a wound, you get cut, and then you're bleeding all over other people. You're bleeding over people who didn't cut you.
You leaving dead bodies all over the place, leaving dead bodies behind you everywhere you go. You know, you'll say, how you doing? Yeah, I'm all right. No, you're not. You're not all right. So at some point, sisters, we have to be like, you and I have given permission to one another to speak those things into our lives, to check us. I've given you permission to say, hey, Lisa, hold on, sis, like you tripping, right? And same thing, vice versa. We've given, and we have to have somebody in our village that can do that. Because if we don't, how are we going to see what we don't see about ourselves if we don't?
And so I talked about that the other day. I think that was on Monday, it might have been Tuesday. Talked about this idea of accountability. You got to be in accountability with somebody. There has to be somebody who can speak into your life. There has to be somebody who can speak to your issues. There has to be somebody who can help you in those processes. Somebody who's ideally a couple of steps ahead of you, right? So that they've been where you're going. They've been where you're going. It's difficult for somebody who hasn't been where you're going to speak into you. Now, God will give us purpose partners. Let me be clear. Let me be very clear. God will give us purpose partners where we're traveling this road together, right? And so there's a level of accountability with purpose partners. We ain't neither one of us ain't ever been there, right? But we travel together, and we're using a divine wisdom to get us through. But God will also yoke us with those who have been where we're going if we let him. And sometimes we'll get into a space where we don't want to be yoked with other people. Okay, let me talk about myself here. Lisa already told y'all that I'm antisocial. I was antisocial when she met me. Like sometimes I don't want to be yoked with people, because yoking with people means that I got to let my guard down. Yoking with people means I got to trust somebody. Yoking with people means that I have to be able to be open for the next thing, right? I got to be open for the next. And sometimes that takes a level of transparency. That takes a level of vulnerability. That takes a level of whatever that I don't always want. And I have to be clear.
And if you
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was breaking up. I didn't know you were. And if you are in survival mode, which I know that I know it now, while in Ashland, then you're not available for any of that. You're not even available to build connections and all those things, because I truly believe the connections that I built at Ashland were God ordained for whatever season we were in. It was built because Lisa was not, I was not who I am now. I was still the guarded person. The somewhat people used to say you always cocked and ready to go, right? That person, the person who didn't trust, the person who was standoffish, the person who was always don't come no closer, you in my space, that person who gonna check you in a matter of 2 minutes, that person. But that person was still in survival mode. And so I had to
Yeah.
ask myself the question, who did I become to survive that no longer benefits me today? Who did I become that I can now let go because I'm better, because I'm in the healing process? Who is that person that has me anchored to the past that I can let go of? So
She said,
I think,
I need y'all to pause right there, Lisa. Pause right there for 1 second. She said, who did I become to survive? But there's a caveat to that no longer serves me today. What things that we have to put on that no longer serves us today? All right.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Listen, Linda, listen. We put on some stuff to get us through the fire.
Yes.
We put on some stuff to get us through the fire. Like just like the firemen, they put on all of this gear. They're gonna put on that. They're putting on the fire retardant clothes. They're going to put on the this, that, and the third, the oxygen mask, or whatever it takes. They're going to put on all of these things to survive that blaze. They're going to put on all of these things to survive that fire. They're going to put on all of those things to survive that which can kill them.
Yes.
That has proven dangerous in the past.
Yes.
They're going to put on all of that protective gear. Now, are you going to wear all of that protective gear into a non-threatening situation? Right. That gear doesn't serve you in other situations. Yes, it serves you when you're going through the fire. Yes, it serves you when you're getting through. Absolutely. But does it serve you when the Lord is trying to open you up to relationships, when the Lord is trying to open you up to help other people heal, when the Lord is trying to open you up to help other people get to their next steps? You then?
Yeah. You have to take it off. And then even underneath all the gear, there's still some smoke and some things that seep through.
Yeah.
That residue that's in those little pocket places that we don't really realize. But like somebody said, we're what she say, leaving people soaking wet. I think whatever that was.
Sandra, let me find it. Let me find that comment. She said, "You you made it through the storm, but you are still soaking wet."
Yeah, that part we leaving, we causing tornadoes and storms and everything behind us, and we still saying, "Oh, but I'm okay." No. There's some residue there that seeped in through all the protective gear that you have, the protective gear of anger, the protective gear of isolation, the protective gear of not trusting, all that protective gear that we wear. Some stuff still seeps through. That residue is still there.
And I love talking in analogies all day long, because that's how the Lord helps me to see. And so when I think about this phrase that Sandra has given us this morning, you made it through the storm, but are still soaking wet and dripping on other people. It makes me think about the ability that God has given us. Like, God has given us the ability to move through some stuff. God has given us in a space where the rain or the things that come along with the storm has not harmed us, right? But this is what God just dropped in my spirit. You got to get out those wet clothes.
You do.
Wet clothes will make you sick. Now, I don't know if that's an old wives' tale or not, but I can tell you one thing. Like my mama was like, if we played in the rain or if we was outside and we got wet, the first thing you do when you come in is get out the wet clothes. One, you get water all over the house, but two, wet clothes will make you sick.
Yeah.
Wet clothes will make you sick. Like I said, I don't know if that's fact or not right now, but right now we're going to use it like it's fact.
We grew up hearing that, but what happens? Because in survival mode, we don't know that we have on wet clothes. We don't even know. We have no idea. because we believe we okay, right? Because we're still in survival mode.
Absolutely.
And so we have to get to a place. I mean, even ask God the question. We got to have that dangerous prayer. You know, those dangerous prayer where we say, Lord, all right, reveal to me where I am. Reveal to me what I need to do. You know, I want to let this go. I want to let who I am not called to be, who I am no more. Let her go. I need to let him go. You know, and then we have to prepare ourselves for that change. And it's hard. There's going to be a grieving process because we're going to have to grieve that person that we have created for the last 20, 30 years. That's a grieving process. We're not ready. We're not just ready to hand him or her over.
Again, I love analogies, right? Let's talk about these wet clothes. Do you know how hard it is to take off wet clothes? It is so
yes.
when your clothes, I mean, they stick to you, they roll off. You know, it's different from getting out of. It is difficult. Like we can expect a little bit of pushback when we take off some wet clothes. Yeah, my God,
and then remember how heavy the clothes is.
It's heavy. Wet clothes weigh more. Wet clothes will weigh us down.
Yes.
Wet clothes will give us what my daddy used to say. It'll give us a chill to our bones. Like you cold and can't get warm. That kind of thing. Like it's not try to take off wet clothes. Yeah. But here's the thing: once you get them off, it's almost impossible to put wet clothes back on. So, get out of them. Get out of them.
It's not for you.
Listen, it's not for you. Janelle says wet clothes are heavy. Mabel says they're very, very heavy. And Celidia says, get out of those wet clothes. Absolutely. Listen, I need y'all to put that in the chat for me, those that aren't here. Get out the wet clothes. Get out those wet clothes. That's that healing, like seriously, that's the healing part of surviving. Yes, we've gone through the things that we've gone through. And I saw a post yesterday, and I understand what they were saying. I don't fully agree with how they said it, but basically it's this idea that at some point, we got to heal. We're responsible for our healing. And the post itself, that was the gist of the post. I won't quote the post because I didn't love how the post was quoted, but basically, yes, healing is our responsibility. Yet we remain a product. We remain a product of our environment because it's our environment. It's what we came out of. If we know storms, we know storms, right? So we know how to survive a storm, but we don't have to operate like we always in one.
Yeah.
Well, that's the word. Absolutely. I know that's the word for somebody. We may know how to survive a storm, but we do not have to operate like we are always in one.
We don't. And when I went to the dictionary to just really understand survive, and I learned that in school when we had to do word search. I'm like, I know what that word means. Why I have to search that word? But when we are called to do a word search, you're going a little bit deeper. And so when I looked up survive, it says survive means to remain alive or in existence, right? Especially after facing something that could have killed or destroyed you. And then healing means to heal is the cause of a wound or injury or person to become sound and healthy again. So in survival mode, it's a lot of, I didn't know I was there. I didn't know I was doing that. I didn't know I had become that. In healing is, I know who I am. I know where I'm going. I know my purpose. So it's two different things. And the residue is a small amount of something that stays after the main part has gone or been taken away to be used no more. All right. Then discard, get rid of, no longer useful or desirable. And that's why I say discard the residue, because the residue we just place to the side. I'm gonna put this over here for a minute. It could be used to something later, but discard means to get rid of. So when we're going through the healing process, our objective is to discard that residue that has been left while we were in survival mode. But will God bring us back up to use these things to pour into somebody else? Absolutely. But we discard it so that we no longer operate from that trauma. And so
I love
that's
that. I love that. I love that. Get rid of that which no longer serves you. That's the simple part. That's the layman's term version of that. Get rid of that doesn't serve you. Discard it. Throw it away. We don't need the residue
no more
of that which. And so here's the thing: when we go through when we go through survival mode, that's right, Lena. Put it in the chat. Somebody put discard in the chat. That's what I'm talking about. When we go through survival mode, it means that we are putting forth everything that we have to get through. That's that time when you look back and you say, I don't know how I got through. I didn't know my own strength. I was just doing whatever it took to make whatever that thing is happen, right? And it's that time that we can say, like, to me, the hope comes in when you're able to say, I can use all of those experiences in my healing process. I can use all of those. Like, so here's the thing about, here's my thing about discarding. Yes, get rid of it or whatever. But just because we got rid of it doesn't mean we don't know how to use it. Somebody come talk to me in this room.
Absolutely. Because we use it. Every day. Every day I use it. Every day. Yeah.
So you might not be able to get something past me, but I don't have to live like I'm walking through it. So that so the residue piece. Now here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. I got excited. When you have a residue on you, that is a time for us to be able to say, okay, I need the residue off. I got to take this residue off, because here's the thing about residue. Residue is particles. Residue isn't even the whole thing anyway. Residue is that which is left behind to keep us dirty, to keep us in a space that doesn't feel good, to keep us in a space that has us operating at less than what we are. Right? That's what residue does. That's what residue is. And that's why it's important to discard the residue. Here's the thing about that. When we discard that which we had to go through in survival mode, when it's time, if there's ever a time again for us to have it again, we will have what we need because we already know how to use it. We can get a new one. We don't have to have the old pieces of one to help us through our healed place. Because let me tell you something, a healed no, my God, a healed no, telling somebody no is better than a broken yes. It may be a new space for me to be able to say no, but when I got the residue of that broken yes off of me, I can say a healed no, right? Now here, when it's time for me to say, but when it is time for me to say yes, that's a new yes. That's a yes that you can trust. Oh, I know the Lord is in this. I know the Lord didn't fail on me this morning.
And also with the discarding the residue, when you have to use it again, that's it. You're in control of it. You are using it. It's not using you. It's not regulating you. But you are regulating
it's not particles.
Yes.
It's the new piece. It's the newness of it. It's like and don't get me wrong, we love to honor brokenness, and I don't mind honoring brokenness in the space when it's appropriate. And somebody said broken crayons still color. Broken crayons do still color, but I can hold a new one better. Let's be clear. Like, so what do I have to do? And sometimes in order to get in a space where I can hold that crayon better, like I got to go through a melting process so that you can melt those pieces back together. So now I have a new product on hand, right? Broken crayons do still color, absolutely. But one that fits my hand better, one that is new to my situation, one that is new to where I am, is going to operate better for me in those spaces. Okay. So hear me when I say, like, I'm not saying like I don't want to get rid of the broken crayons, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, but let me ask the Lord for a new pack. I'd love to ask the Lord for a new pack of crayons, because a new pack of crayons is going to serve me better. All right. Okay. Let me calm down, because we baby, this 30 minutes go so fast. Let me get our church announcements up. Let me get our church announcements up. We got church announcements. We got a couple things that we want to talk about. If you have something for the church announcements, make sure that you get it to us so that we can announce your local events or whatever it may be, or whatever it is that you have given up. First of all, we have a giveaway. We're giving away the book that I wrote chapter 1 of this book that says Finally Living My Dreams. I think it's 2 books left to get rid of, to give away as we give. And it's launched the legacy. And I wrote the first chapter in that book called Finally Living My Dreams. If you want that book, I just need you to put in the chat, I want that book. Hopefully, I know not hopefully, those that have been receiving their books and those kinds of things, I hope you are being blessed by it. I hope you read that chapter. And there's other good stuff in there too as well. Additionally, we have the other thing that we have coming up is if you want to be on the First Fruits to 40, I need you to let me know by DMing me and let me know that you want to be on the First Fruits to 40 so we can have a conversation and get you started, get you on to that, because I think there's only a couple of days left for that. I looked at the calendar the other day and it is basically full. There's, like I said, a couple of days that are open for that. So if you want to be on First Fruits to 40, let me know that you want to be on First Fruits. I'm excited about that. And then finally, we have our Best Me retreat. It's our cake-free experience. It is in Aruba for 4 nights, 10/3 to 10/7. If you're interested in coming out to be with us for that, there are 2 rooms left for that. I guess 2 is my number. There are 2 rooms left for that. And we had our first connection call last night, and I am so excited about what God is getting ready to do for these ladies who are coming out for the Best Me retreat. So if you're interested in that, hit me up to make sure that you are a part of that. All right. So again, that's the Best Me retreat, and you can go to arubajoy.com for more information on the Best Me retreat. What else I got? That's all I got for my church announcements. Though, Lisa, do you have something coming up that you would like to announce?
If they want to, where I have to get ready to get to, fill up Fridays in 20 minutes. So you can, I don't know, is Joy still on? I mean, not if Joy, is Janelle still on? You can put the
She
information.
probably is.
Okay. Put the information.
So Fill Up Fridays. Chanel put that in the chat for Fill Up Fridays, where, like Lisa said, she has to get to that today at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. It's on. What's the station?
WVTC Radio Detroit.
WVTC Radio Detroit. Walter Victor Detroit Television. And that's radio, Detroit. Yeah. And you can catch it right on Facebook. Go to her page and she'll be able to, and you'll be able to see her live this morning for her Fill Up Friday. So we do got to get out of here. So I am rushing to a close to get Lisa to where she needs to be.
But wait a minute, Joy. Also, they can go to Coming Up for Air Counseling Ministries to watch it as well if they can't get to WVTC Radio Detroit.
Okay, if you can't get to WVTC Detroit with Minister Lisa, you can go to her Coming Up for Air Counseling Ministry page.
Facebook page, yeah.
All right, it's on the Facebook page. So hit those up in just a few minutes. She'll be live over there for that. All right, these have been your church announcements. Govern yourself accordingly. One of the things I know is that there is always hope. And what we've been talking about today is surviving versus healing, surviving and healing. Sometimes we go through some things and we have to, we got to do what we got to do to survive. Let's be clear. It is what it is. But once we get through those spaces, it's important for us to heal. Like Sandra gave us that analogy that I love so much. We've been through the storm. Now, are we still soaking wet, dripping all over people, dripping all over everything? All right. So like, let's get out those wet clothes. It's important for us to get through that healing process. I believe whether we're at our lowest low or our highest high, there is always hope. Always hope. And I believe that God has given us tools and people to get through it. And one of the tools he has given me is this acronym for HOPE, which literally is honest observation and practical execution. And so I'm going to let Lisa give us our last word when we're talking about this space of hope. When we talk about this space of hope, honest observation and practical execution, when we think about healing versus surviving, or healing and surviving, Lisa, what is something that we can do to take an honest observation of ourselves and then make a practical execution, and then have a practical execution as well?
So the first thing that I would say is we really just have to, who knows us best, who sees us thoroughly, is God. So I would say we have to go to God first and ask God, Where are we? Where am I, God? Am
Mm.
I in the place you would have me to be? Am I positioned? Am I postured in the right place? Is my heart postured in the right place? And then what God gives us, then we have to execute that. We have to apply pressure to ourselves, just like we apply pressure to other people when we want them to do something. We apply the pressure when we are cut and we're trying to stop the bleeding. We apply pressure. We must do the same thing when it comes to surviving and healing. So go to God. What is it,
Mhm.
God? Show me, because you see me best. You know me best. And then whatever God says, then begin to execute that thing. Apply the
Mhm.
pressure to that so that you are positioned, that you are postured, that you are available for what God would have you to do. And that will lead you to your morning prayer all over again, your first fruit. Lord, what is it that you will have me to do today? Am I in
Mhm.
the right place?
I love that honest observation. I love pointing our honest observation to God. Lord, what is it that you see? Because it is,
Mm-hmm.
we can get honest with ourselves and we can take a look at ourselves, but also if our goal is to be what God wants us to be, literally asking God the question, what is it that you see and how do you want me to move forward? And then the
Mm-hmm.
practical execution that Lisa Goss gave us this morning is put on the pressure. Put on the
Mm-hmm.
pressure. Don't stop because it hurts a little bit. Don't stop
Mm-hmm.
because it seems like it won't stop. But put the
Mm-hmm.
pressure on to get to that place of healing. Put
Yeah.
the pressure on to have the bleeding to stop. All right. Listen, y'all, today has been an absolutely amazing day, and I'm super excited to be a part of what God is doing, not only in my life, but the life of my colleagues and others. So if you all have time this morning, y'all on your way to work anyway, go ahead and catch Minister Lisa Goss on the Coming Up for Air Counseling Ministries Facebook page, or WBTC Radio this morning at 7 a.m. Just click right off of us to right over there. I'm gonna let Lisa go so that she can go and get ready. You all have a blessed, and amazing day.
Right.
And thank you for joining us this morning. This was amazing.
It
Bye.
was. Bye,
Good.
bye,
It was good. Bye, everybody.